What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Horrorphile. Today, I'm actually doing something a little bit different than my normal videos. I'm actually going to be overviewing, doing one video per month on extreme cinema. Some of the extreme cinema films in my collection, kind of basically talking about each film, kind of going over them. So check this out. Let me know what you guys think about the series, and stay tuned. What is up, everyone? This is Kyle over here at the Horrorphile, coming back with another kind of series. This is actually something I'm doing that's a little bit different. I've actually got the idea to do this series from one of my fellow YouTubers, Double Shot Jay. He's actually doing a series where he kind of overviews some films in his collection that are out of print. This series is not going to be about out of print movies that I'm doing. It's going to be overviewing some of the more extreme films that I have in my collection. I'm going to be doing probably one episode per month. Where I talk about three films in my, 3 films per episode in my collection that are considered extreme cinema or considered to have a lot of extreme elements to them. I'm only going to be talking about there are a lot of films in my collection that I have not seen yet. There are a few of the extreme ones that I have not seen yet, but I'm only going to be talking about the ones that I have seen. So I hope you guys enjoy this series. Today I'm going to kind of start out a little simple with some of the two of them are some of the more popular extreme films. I have seen all three of these films. Kind of give you a little breakdown of what the plot's like, and kind of give you my overall somewhat rating on the movie, what I thought about the movie. I'm not going to try to keep these very long. That's why I'm only doing 3 films per episode. I just want to kind of see how this goes, but let me know what you guys think. So starting out, like I said, I have a lot of extreme films. I'm more of an extremist when it comes to cinema. I like being kind of shocked. I like having a lot of extreme films in my collection because I think they're interesting. They have a lot of rewatch value to them. They shock me. They make me, I like watching a film that does shock me. And when I say extreme cinema, I don't want you to get it wrong. Think anything kind of out of the norm. Not all these are going to be horror movies. Some of these films may be like a Yakuza movie, Takashi Miike film, or it may be like a low budget horror film that has a lot of disturbing elements or something just out of the norm. When I say extreme, I'm talking about there's situations in these films that have a lot of graphic violence, maybe, or have a lot of disturbing elements where it would take the person that's watching the film, put them in the mindset of the person or the situation that these people are in, and kind of make them feel uncomfortable. I feel like if you watch a film and you feel a little uncomfortable, that kind of sums up extreme cinema to me. Some films have a lot of graphic nudity. Some films have rape scenes. Some films have body parts that get severed. It's just all kinds of like really graphic violence. Some films have like a really deep underlying meaning. It just something that makes you think. And most of the time, I consider most of these extreme cinema. So, kind of just a brief overview of what I've kind of looking for with this, and kind of going for. And a lot of the films that I'll be talking about, most of all of them have had somewhat of a kind of like a presence online, or people have talked about them as being disturbing, extreme, make you feel uncomfortable type cinema online. So, kind of jump into it, so I'm not rambling on too much. The first film I'm going to talk about is a film by Takashi Miike. I actually wanted to do one of Miike's films to start off with. It's actually probably the most popular film that he's done. This movie this is a Japanese movie, obviously. This movie came out in 1999. This was actually Shout Factory's release of it. It is Audition. So, if you guys have never seen Audition, kind of give you a brief overview, and I'm not going to review the film. I might tell you what my thoughts are on it, but I'm not going to give a huge review on these films. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what this film's about. This film is about a guy, a man, who loses his wife and has a friend that is a casting director for movies. He casts, basically stars in movies. He basically goes to these casting calls and tries to find a woman that maybe he might like or maybe want to date to kind of get back into the dating scene. But little does he know, the one woman he does pick is a psychopath. So Yeah, that's basically the whole plot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this movie. It can be a little hard to follow at times, but there's a lot of disturbing elements to this movie. A couple of brief things that happen in this movie. I mean, most of this movie, but probably about the first half or a little bit more than first half. There's not a whole lot going on other than him trying to find this woman. You kind of get introduced to the characters. You get introduced to his son. You kind of get introduced to her because this is the girl that he does pick, which is obvious. She's on the front cover, and this is actually the gentleman right here. Kind of not really a flattering picture of him, but a couple of disturbing elements this has in it. It does have a lot of graphic violence in it, especially toward the end. There's a lot of good practical effects. There's really not. I think most of it is practical effects, and there's a lot of very uncomfortable situational things in this movie that just take the watcher and put them in that kind of perspective of what would you do in this situation, and does make you feel uncomfortable. Um, I definitely think this is probably one of Miike's best films. I really like the concept of this film. For me, it wasn't hard to follow. Maybe for a first time Miike fan, it might be, but it definitely makes you feel kind of uneasy, on edge, and it really makes you cringe at the end when you see kind of the ending to this film. There's very graphic violence at the end that make you just feel really uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, Audition. I would highly recommend this film. This is actually the Shout Factory release. I know that Arrow Video just released. I think they released a steelbook and a regular edition of this on Blu-ray. I don't know what the special features are on this. This is a two disc release, so there are a lot of special features on this. There's an audio commentary with Miike. It comes with a booklet on the inside and some interviews and some trailers. I really think this is a solid release for this film. I don't have any purpose of upgrading because I really like this edition. But check out Arrow Video if you want a steelbook of it. I don't know, they might be out of print by now. Yeah, I know you can still pick this up for relatively 15-20 bucks, somewhere in there. Um, but yeah, Audition, definitely somewhat of an extreme and kind of very unsettling film. Definitely check it out. So that's film number one. Um, Jump into second film, another more popular extreme movie especially within the last couple of years. This film, I mean, most people, if you're watching this, you probably have heard of this film. If not already seen it, you probably have seen it. Um, I really love this movie. I have watched it probably more than any of the other extreme movies that I have watched, just because I really enjoyed this film. And it is a Serbian film. This is the 3-disc release. I got this from Diabolic DVD. This would be the only edition of this film I would ever recommend purchasing. Diabolic DVD. It's about $30 for this edition. It comes with a soundtrack, a Blu-ray, and a DVD of the film. But this is the only truly uncut version of this film that I have found. Kind of give you a brief overview of this film. You got Milos, who is this character right here. He is a retired porn star who pretty much did porn his entire career. He now is retired. He has a family with a little boy. He is running out of money. He is approached by a company ran by a man named Vukmir to do a film which would be pretty much set him up for life, which would make him so much money he would never have to worry about money again, never have to work again. And this is very, Milos is very interested in this because he is running out of money and he wants to be able to support his family and live a normal life. So he agrees to do it. But he does not know exactly what he's got himself into. He has got himself into some deep shit. That's all I can really say. This movie is very extreme. A lot of people consider this, now when I watch it, I already know what's going to happen, and it's not, now when I see it, I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. It's still great, but it's, you see it once, you kind of seen it, a million times. But when I first watched this movie, I was just so, wow, that is just beyond what I expected to happen, and definitely not something you see in general cinema all the time. The accounts and things that happen in this film you do not see in movies very often. And it's the crazy thing about this movie, and I think another main reason why this movie is very extreme is because it is filmed so well. This movie is filmed like a high budget film. Like you would see this in the movie theater. Like you would see this, some nice, like some good director would direct this film. It's just wonderfully directed. The acting is very good. So it makes it that more believable. If this was a low budget film with a low budget and had shitty acting, I would probably just laugh at this movie. But it looks so real and it's so wonderfully written and directed that it makes it extreme. Kind of some reasons why this movie is extreme. There is rape in this film. There is scenes of extreme sexual violence and also extreme sex. There is tons of blood and gore in this movie, just a ton of it. There's decapitation. There's a scene in this movie which they call the newborn porn scene, which it's a pretty depraved scene. But when you actually there's actually an interview or like a behind the scenes thing on this scene that they do on this TV. If you pick up this version of it, it actually kind of like shows you how they made the scene, and it's actually when you see that and then you watch the scene again, you just kind of think it's a joke. But there's a scene where there's like a quote unquote newborn porn scene that's very shocking to some people. I've heard some people were like whoa, and some people think it's a joke. It's hilarious. There's also some scenes of child abuse in this. They're graphic, but they're fake. I mean, obviously, there's no child getting hurt in this film, but it is filmed where it looks almost like it's real. So, tons and tons and tons of stuff make this movie extreme. Personally, it sounds sadistic and kind of messed up, but I do enjoy this film. I think this film is excellent. We're actually talking about doing this on, I just started Disturbing Movies podcast, Extreme Cinema podcast. It has not released yet. We've already filmed episode 1. That will release. This will be an episode on it. We're reviewing one film per episode. This will be one of the episodes that comes up on it. There's a lot to talk about with this film. This film has gotten banned in several countries. It was on Netflix for a while. It got banned off Netflix. It's just been banned everywhere. Highly recommend picking this edition up. Like I said, I don't have the soundtrack in here because I think it's in my car. Soundtrack is very, very good. But it's 2 discs. You got the Blu-ray copy and you got the DVD copy. I think this is one of the only truly uncut editions of this film. But yeah, Serbian film. This was actually made in 2011, I believe it was filmed. Well, actually 2010. And it's an hour and 44 minutes. So check it out. I highly recommend this film. Love this film. Check that one out. Last film we're going to talk about today, because I don't want to run over too long. It's a movie I've only seen once, and I actually believe I did do. No, I don't think I did a review on this one, but I think I talked about this on one of my previous videos. One of my top 10 Tuesday videos, I believe. This is a movie. It looks like this is from the United States. It looks like it was filmed in 2010 as well. This movie is called The Bunny Game. Sorry about the glare. I got there's a cover on it, but it's called The Bunny Game. This movie, it's hard to explain. This movie is basically based on the true life of Rodleen Getzik, who was a prostitute. Basically what happened to Getzik was, in real life, she was abducted by a trucker and tortured. This movie is pretty much the exact same thing. It's kind of an artsy type film as well. Not a lot of dialogue in it whatsoever. Basically, this prostitute gets abducted by a truck driver, gets tied up in his truck, in the back of his truck, and tortured. There's a lot of scenes of graphic violence is the main thing with this film. There's a lot of nudity, a ton of graphic violence. There's some scenes where the actual woman in this film, I tell you what, she was a trooper because I don't believe she was actually. It's actually got Rodleen Getzik in it. So the main character is Rodleen Getzik, this lady or this chick right here. It's actually based on her life. I did forget that she was the main character as well in this film. But her life, it's based on events that happened in her life where she got tortured by a truck driver. And she does a very, very good job. And it's kind of crazy because if you think about it, these events happened to her, but she's willing to re-portray these events and pretty much let them redo these events to her almost, because the stuff they do to her in this movie is pretty brutal. The torture scenes, they put a plastic bag over her head and start like strangling her. They tie her up, they hit her. I'm sure a lot of the hitting scenes weren't real, but to kind of put yourself back in that mindset for when something that traumatic happened to you, that's honestly a high five. I mean, that's kind of crazy that you could do that. But the bunny game, there really isn't much more to say about it. It is kind of a mind twister, kind of a mind fuck. It's a good movie. It wasn't as extreme as I expected it to be, but it was still extreme. Still definitely deserves a spot on this list. This was directed by Adam Raymer. And this DVD, you can actually get this DVD on eBay. I got it for fairly cheap. It has some bonus on it, some commentary with Adam Raymer and Rodley Getzik, making of, featurette, trailers, and photo gallery. Yeah, so it even says here on the back, a powerhouse of uncomfortable. Bloody Disgusting said that. So definitely recommend checking it out. I mean, it's a cheap pickup. I don't think it's out of print at all. I could be wrong. I've had this for over a year, but I'm pretty sure it's still in print. Recommend picking it up. You can probably pick it up for like $10. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, to kind of recap what we had going on today. Audition, Takashi Miike's Audition from 1999. A Serbian film from 2011. And The Bunny Game from 2010, I believe I said. Yep, 2010. All disturbing films. If I was to put these in order, from disturbing, I'd definitely say a Serbian film first, Audition second, and probably Bunny Game third. So check them out if you get a chance. Let me know what you guys think about this new series I kind of got going on. I know I kind of rambled on this first episode trying to explain what's going on with the series, but I'd like to hear you guys' opinions. Let me know what's going. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video. Leave me some comments. Subscribe to my page if you're not subscribed. Check out some of my other videos. I'm just, I'm uploading just kind of as I go. I do a lot of reviews and stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Till next time, appreciate you guys watching. Peace. See ya.